Welcome to the WoodsTalk podcast. Welcome back, one and all, to the WoodsTalk podcast with me, freelance window licker, Rory Woods, and special guest, Terry of HUGH McHugh. Namaste, bye. How's it going?
What's correct?
Fuck all, sir. It's good to see you. It's been, again, because of COVID, time's fucked anyway, but it's probably been about 14 and a half years since I last spoke to you.
18.
18, sorry. Fucked it up.
Last time I seen you, because I was thinking about this earlier on, I think last time I seen you was up in Korean.
Would have been with Teresa and...
I was up in Korean, and it was either January or February.
Would have been, I think. Teresa was there, Matthew Collins was there, I think.
Yes.
That wee gig, yeah.
That might not even have been 2020, that might have been 2019.
It might have been, you know, again, I have no idea, to be honest. I just know.
I honestly God, I was sitting talking to someone today and they're banging on about something, and I was like, that's 3 years ago. And I go, 2015 now.
Yeah. Exactly.
So look at my wee girl, she's turning 17 in September.
Jesus. That's fucking
And just
mad.
for this whole thing, I think she said one birthday, her 16th birthday was in lockdown. Her 15th birthday, I don't know. I mean, to me, she's still 14, like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's genuinely honest, like, I feel like I've lost 2 years of my life, like.
Mate, I have to say, I feel the same. It's, you know, I feel sorry for everybody, but I feel sorry for anybody who produces calendars, because that's a fucking dead industry these days. Nobody gives a fuck. What day is it? Who cares? You can't do anything anyway. It's not as if, like, oh, it's Tuesday, we can get, you know, we can get to the cinema for cheap. No, you can't. No, you can't. You can stream fucking Beverly Hills Chihuahua from the comfort of your own home with Japanese subtitles.
You still get 2 for Tuesdays at Domino's.
That's true. That's true.
That's about all you've got.
Yeah. I think
I've started a 2020 wall planner up in work.
Yeah, because why not? You
Still
know what I mean?
working on it, like, you know what I mean? Sure.
Yeah.
Just knock a day off it, be alright.
Yeah, like I have no idea. I'm at the point now where I'm like, you know what? I'll just buy some presents just in case Christmas is tomorrow.
That's what my kid sister texted me earlier. My dad's clearing out the garage and he's dropping in. My family now has a WhatsApp group. I hate WhatsApp groups. Yeah, add Terry to the WhatsApp group. The first message you see is Terry has left the group. But I hate them.
It's the ultimate, like, fuck you.
I just fucking hate them.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, such and such, and then next thing you get 20 thumbs up. So you're like, lads, it's not necessary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see you all fucking read it. Take your thumbs up and shove up your hole. But it was my family, and I thought, right, I have to be in this group. But anyway, he's clearing the garage out and he's dropping in the group. Oh, I found this box of stuff for such and such. I found this box of stuff. And it's fucking none of my shit. Like,
yeah.
Like, nothing belonging to me at all. You know, and I was like, well, where's all my fucking stuff? Like, he says, oh, I just kept it cold. My kids done it. But anyway, he says he found a flute. And I goes, well, who owns a flute? And he goes, it's Sister Nicholas. I says, right, dead on. She's obviously in some fucking band we don't know about. Like. So I text Nicholas. I says, right, I'm stealing that flute from you. And she goes, that's fine, you take a flute, but tell the kids they're not getting their birthday presents. And she says, it's not their birthday for another 3 or 4 months. She still has last year's birthday presents for my kids.
Fuck shit. Oh, I suppose, yeah, because she wouldn't have been...
It hasn't been up, like, though, I mean. And she says, see how they feel about it when they're told they're not getting their presents. Like, you say that like I like it.
Here you go, here's some hand sanitizer. You know what I mean? Mate, that's a thing, though, about, like parents. I don't know if it's strictly Northern Irish thing, but there's always, like, a weird mix of hoarding and then giving you shite you don't want. So they hoard the stuff that they don't need, but they give you the shite that you don't want. Like, if I visit my granny, even to drop in a set of keys, I leave with a potato peeler, a Frey Bento's pie, and a gazebo, and you're like, I don't need any. I live in a flat. I don't have a balcony. What the fuck am I doing with a gazebo? Do you know what I mean?
Last time up in Mass, she handed me, like, I'm talking to the bags for life, Fazda, fucking things you can put a month's shopping in. 2 of them stacked full of old school books, old school reports, fucking the old St. Malachy's collegiate fucking school magazine for you. I said, here you go, do you want them? And you can't say no.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? They've dug them out, they've went, oh, he would want them. And
yeah.
Fucking them out.
Do you know what? It could almost be worse because of the lockdown situation. There's like a further case for you not being able to argue it, because then your parents could just go, well, you're going to be bored during lockdown. You might want to revisit trigonometry. You might want to do it. Long division. You might want to do it.
You might want to go back and look at the 11 plus practice papers that you've done.
Battle of Hastings and a pint of stout. Let's do it.
I threw one of the 11 plus practice papers at my wheel and I was like, do that, you dickhead. 11 plus a piece of piss. We shite scored 90 in it. It's like, well, fuck out.
I don't think I ever got over 60 in those bastards. It was like,
I was looking at them like I was scoring 80s and 90s. I was a wee sad wee. I mustn't have that like generally because like for some reason my school years I can't remember them. I don't know if I have some repressed fucking memories or something.
yeah.
But like I was getting 80s and 90s, my 11 plus practice papers. I was disgusted at myself because I always thought I was a wee bit of a rebel, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Turns out I was a wee swatty bastard.
Yeah. Just literally yo-yoing about, just going fucking long division, no sweat.
I know, because that was what I thought. I'm a yo-yo champion. I obviously had a misspent youth. No, I was a wee lick.
School's fucked up, man. When you think like how it kicks off, in primary school, you're like, there's toys everywhere, sandbox, water. Do you know what I mean? Which is a precious commodity in Strabane, you know what I mean? I could have sold it back to the school, you know what I mean? And you're just sitting there going, this is fucking great, and just talking about Power Rangers and shit like that, and eating a fucking crisp sandwich, and then suddenly they're just like, here's pi to the nearest fucking 3 digits, and you're like, here, you can't force this on me when I'm still wearing dungarees and a He-Man top. You can't.
Like he's sitting eating glue, and you want me to figure out the area of that circle. Like,
to be fair, he's still eating glue, so he's known what he's wanted to do with his life from when he was no height.
did you have the bottles of warm milk at school? This is why it's showing me age, you see.
Oh yeah, it used to fuck me off. There'd be a crate of milk outside your classroom.
Like beside the radiator.
Yeah, and it was like grand most of the time actually, because ours was just left outside the hut. We had huts in our school, you know what I mean? Because it was run by Native Americans, you know what I mean? Fucking Dole Phoenix or whatever. They were just left outside, and obviously most of the year, weather-wise, spot on, ice cold milk. See to this day, I still have a weird thing about milk where it's like, I'm not against having a pint of milk with my dinner the very odd time, but it needs to be ice cold and bought on that day. See if it's the day after, even if it's still ice cold, I don't trust it.
That's what that is. That's you working in shops.
Oh yeah, for sure, because I've cleaned up that much spilt milk. I'm surprised I even put it in my tea anymore, because see that, and then like between that and cleaning up fucking stray slushy, before it's a slushy, there's like that fucking paste that you mix with a bit of shit.
I don't know this, but I'm intrigued.
Oh man, it's got the consistency of like very heavy sort of olive oil. Do you know what I mean? And it comes in a keg. You know what I mean? From fucking Diabetes or Us, and you just pour it into the thing, and you add like cold water and like sugar and stuff to it. But I once spilled it before I'd even had a chance to put it in the slushy machine, and it just gets sticky, and it smelled like feet, just pure blackened feet, and I was like, this is the worst thing ever. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just pure whatever it is, fructose, whatever it is, it's stinking, mate.
You know that stuff that's a slushy before it's a slushy. Oh.
the pre-slushy slushy. Do you know what I mean? The oil that you put in to make the slushy. There's fucking oil in ice cream. I didn't even know that. We used to get ice cream. Like we used to have an ice cream machine in Centra. You read the ingredients. There's fucking oil in it. Like,
oil.
I don't know if it's crisp and dry, like, but it's fucking something.
All right, in my head, I'm thinking engine oil for fuck's sake.
Bertolli. Yeah, but basically, yeah. Long story short, I don't like warm milk.
There we go.
Yeah, but definitely it reminds me of school.
That's not going to be the title of this episode. I don't like warm milk.
Pre-slushy slush could be a contributor as well. I don't know, but I remember those wee tiny milk bottles, warm as fuck the all time, with a wee shite like lid. It wasn't even like a proper like lid that you would get now. It was like the plastic that's on a chocolate coin just over the top, and you just sit there.
Like a tinfoil, and you just stuck your straw through it in the way you went.
Yeah, and it was.
And then every once in a while, and I don't know about you in our school, every once in a while you get strawberry milk.
You got strawberry milk?
You're all Friday, you get strawberry milk, and mate, it was like all your Christmases had come at once. I guess it was North Belfast in the 80s, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
pink milk, there's pink milk. Only source of calcium you get.
Yeah, oh for sure, yeah.
Cost your math $5 a year, and what's that was bitch about
it. See, that's what you should do maybe this weekend. Get yourself a strawberry yazoo and just read about fucking, you know what I mean?
Go back over my reports.
Just read about clouds. The amount of shite you had to learn, that is no longer applicable. Like most of maths You don't need it. You really don't need it.
No, you don't. Like, I mean, the other thing is, I was doing the homeschooling moments, and they were coming at me with stuff, and I was just looking at it going, I have no idea. And the problem is, like, our youngest boy, he's 10, and he's still at that age where he thinks his dad knows everything.
Yeah.
You know, kids like with their parents know everything, and he was that illusion was smashed to shit during that. He was just coming, Daddy, what's this and this that? You know, what's 0.35 mils plus? It's a double, son. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Google it.
Like, what's a quarter plus an eighth? I don't know, but when we bought it in the waterworks, it was about 15 quid. You know, it was like not a clue. He's asking about the Victorians and the Vikings, and I'm looking at him going, like, kid, you're never gonna need to know this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so what he says to me, he's fucking sharpening up that wee shit. He goes, you're never going to need to know this. And he goes, Daddy, I bet you thought that when you were at school. He said, you need to know it now, don't you?
That's you, child.
Fucking hell. See if I was still allowed to hit you, you fucking...
You get away with it, you know what I mean? Just give them a strawberry milk and they'll be all right after. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I was thinking of doing? I was thinking of just making them live in the 80s or 90s for a day.
Give it a go. And what would you do?
Take their phones off and take their tablets off and turn the Wi-Fi off. Only let them watch kids programs between 4 and 5. Hit them a lot. You know what I mean? I just go, where you go? How do you like it?
Yeah, make them wear a lot of leather. That was a big thing. And give them a perm.
Get them a shell suit and make them walk there naked twins.
Just you beating the fuck out of them to Simple Minds would be great.
It's a game. So we used to play when we were growing up.
It's called,
do me no harm.
It's called Take the Punch and Don't Reciprocate.
We'll play a game. What's that? Where I hit you as hard as I can so you're making you don't cry. Well, play that.
That's definitely a thing though. Like, obviously I've never had to homeschool anybody, but it sounds like something I would do. You know, the way you said there about you know, back in my day this would have been this. You know, that's what you usually do, would equate it to your sort of experiences. But like, you know what I mean? Like, if I asked my dad about anything when I was at school, he would just be like, well, you know, for £1 you could have got 2 punts or something like that there. And I'm like, this is no relevance. I'm just asking what the capital of Spain is. Punt, you used to be able to get a pint of buttermilk and half a tub of butter for a quarter eighth of a punt. And I'm like, I don't care.
I don't. You know, it's what's the angle of that right angle triangle there? That was going on. Honestly, God, it just showed me. I'm 40 years of age, and I have no grasp on basic maths or English.
Oh man, it's
primary level for maths and English. I just was like, I'm bait.
Oh yeah, like I never.
You might have the other one coming at me with a Spanish homework. I'm like, I'm going, mate. You know what I mean? I can order a beer. That's about the head of it. Everyone can order a beer.
Yeah,
and the next thing, the daughter coming at me talking about the suburbs of Belfast because she's doing geography.
You're getting it from like all angles because
I thought I'd get away with the homeschooling because Mrs. is a teacher. You see, I thought happy days. So
that's right. She's a teacher.
Exactly. I thought this is class. I'll not have to do anything. It'd be brilliant. But she was that busy teaching other people's wee shits that I was left for my own.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I suppose that's reasonably fair because. I mean, to be fair, if she was teaching them from home and you weren't having to do anything, she'd be trying to teach them about isosceles triangles and you'd just be in the back singing Guns N' Roses. Where do we go? Where do we go now?
It's music class, kids. Come on.
Oh, man. But yeah, that must be...
I thought I was going to learn an instrument during lockdown or pick up the guitar again. That didn't happen.
Yeah, play that. You have to play that flute. You know what I mean? Just...
I can't believe there's a McHugh with a flute. It's wrong. Like,
yeah,
really. Says my dad, he says when you tuck your eye at the ball at that point, like.
Yeah. You must be getting it from all angles, those, you know, in terms of subjects, you know, because there's a few kids being homeschooled, whereas you say you're getting obviously all the subjects in the space of, you know, a couple hours. Like, how many hours a day do you legally have to teach them for?
Oh, there was a case of like. When I get up in the morning, with the wee lads get up in the morning, they had this app thing you logged into, and all the work he had to do was in there. So it's, if you can get it blitzed in an hour, you get it blitzed in an hour. You know what I mean?
Obviously,
the problem was he would start at 9, so you'd get through that, and then the 13-year-old getting him out of bed when he'd know where to go was a fucking daily battle. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Get up, you can back half an hour later. Are you not up yet? No, we'll go. So he'd get up about 1ish. You'd have to start on date with him, and then the Uyghur was alright. Like those days, she would come down maybe 2:30, and you thought, right, I'm done. I would sit there and you get through all the work calls that you had to do, and then she'd rock up.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do this? She's like asking me chemistry questions, and a fucking chemistry teacher sitting in the corner.
Is that specifically what she teaches?
Science teacher, chemistry, biology, and my other science. Like, what I mean?
I have to say too.
Can't be a crystal meth. You know what I mean? She's not that good. But like, it's like,
I have
asking me his crap for.
I have to say I've enjoyed how this podcast has turned, because obviously now there's not a lot of light on you, so it looks like you're
I've noticed that.
You're on UTV and you don't want your identity to be brought forward. You know what I mean? We were just like, yes, there was this one time that this one comedian did this, and do you remember someone made a joke about your man going in the back door on Twitter? He's actually very funny, that fella. He's probably one of the most gifted stand-ups you'll ever see. Tickets on sale now.
What would ever happen to him?
I think
is that better? Can you see me now?
Aye, it's beautiful.
See, I'm not one of them ones on video calls. You ever see ones when you're on a video call and you can see that they're just looking at themselves the whole time and just fixing their hair and just, you know, I'm not one of them. I sort of think I don't want to see myself like.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's not something I think anybody's ever going to get used to, you know, because obviously you told me midweek you've a lot of sort of use of Zoom for your work calls and stuff, and I'm the same, but I'm lucky enough in that because there's usually so many people involved, you're kind of implored not to use video because obviously it'll slow down the bandwidth for whatever.
Serious?
Yeah, so that's kind of handy. So you can just listen, but you could also, you know, play Worms on your phone. Do you know what I mean? It's great.
Ours are the complete opposite. See, you go over to the camera, first thing you hear, camera's on. You're like, no, please.
Oh, that's brutal. Do you know what I mean?
Like, and she'll wait till all the cameras are on, and then she'll say hello to each of you individually, and we go, oh, hello, how are you? And mate, there's mornings I've been on them calls, like, hanging. Like, yeah, and it's like, and she's like, so then Terry, and you're like, oh, please don't speak to me. You know what I mean? Or my mind will drift. I'll be sitting there a million miles away, and next thing I'll hear Terry, and I'll go, what's my name? They'll realise there's no one else in the call called Terry, and that's realised I've just been asked a question. Shit, what do you do?
Yeah, you
and
can't.
You do that thing, you try not to move, so they think you're frozen.
Just the dumbest face of all time. I can't get used to it, man. I really can't get used to the like this is different because you're just chatting shite and it's good crack and stuff. But work calls, you know, again, it's sort of like, you know, and especially if the person doesn't have the best connection in their home and they're just coming, like they're buffering all the time, and it's like very sort of stop starting. They're like, are you beatboxing or what the fuck's going on here? Where they're like, we need to make sure that can you do that? And you're like, aye, no worries.
Yep, I do that.
Consider it done.
Hang up and get on with my day. I will do that. And it's like I've noticed people on them. Like if you notice that people go on them, and our ones anyway, you can spot the ones who before they've come on, they've checked what's behind them, and they make sure what's behind them something interesting. Like, you know, oh, there's the 3 guitars, or there, you know, and it's you're just letting go, and you spend more time on your background than you have on the fucking email you sent me, or you know, ask me to do something.
Yeah.
And then the other ones who turn up with them headsets on them, like, you know, you're looking at them going, we're launching a new product, not a fucking space mission. like honest to God, like there's one guy on ours, and I swear to Christ, man, I think he comes on thinking he's getting the nuclear codes. Like, when you have to see this thing, like the earpieces are the size of a toddler's head. It's just like, you know what I mean? I say, every time he's on, I keep wanting to say something to him. I just go, what did you actually think was going to happen here today?
Yeah, I have to agree, man. I've been in a few situations where you just see they're like this almost like a gaming headset or whatever it technically is, but from a distance you're like, have you just got an air fryer on your head? What the fuck's going on here? Or
like, are you come on the tank, or are you going to sit here and talk about the fucking, you know, the virtues of seals?
Yeah,
it's, you know, it's like there's one guy he came on, and I swear to God, he just looked like he was getting. He thought he was on the space shuttle, like, you know what I mean? And he hasn't twigged yet. Every email I've sent him since has had the subject ground control to Major Tom, and he hasn't figured it out yet.
Oh man, like I would hate that. Do you know what I mean? I would lose the bat by someone like that eventually and just be like, here, Daft Punk, fuck up, would you?
I mean, I'm telling you, it's the point. Like, I mean, even I was on one the other day on phone beat, and it was the boss, it was the big boss. just messages me going, say nothing, shut up, stop laughing. I forget they can see me sometimes. Like someone will say something, I'm like, fuck's sake, here he goes.
Yeah.
And then I realize, oh fuck, they can see me doing that. And then there's the ones when you're wrapping up, right? That's everybody finished. Does anyone else they add? And some fucking asshole decides, oh, I've got 20 minutes of important stuff to talk about.
I agree. They chime in. And it's usually because they've said fuck all during the whole 90-minute meeting. And they're like, well, actually, I just want to talk about when we go back to the office, will we get one of those coffee pod machines? Have you ever seen them? You can get different coffee. You can get lattes, latte macchiatos, and a cappuccino, and just a chai latte. And you're like, here, 100%, hang yourself. And
if you stop talking now and let me go on with the rest of the day, I'll buy it.
Yeah. Argos, click and collect.
I'll buy you two. I'll buy you one for a weekend. I hate them. And the thing is, they're not going away. I thought when we were back in, that'll be the end of them. I think we're looking 2 or 3 a day, and that's us back in the shop there.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I mean? So it's like they're not going anywhere. That's the main thing that COVID's done. It's like, fucking God forgive me, but forget death rates and all that shit. Fucking video conference work meetings are now a thing.
Yeah, it used to be like,
and that's all down to some fucking idiot chopping up a bat rock.
Yeah, and you're right, because, by the way, I like the idea of you buying that guy 2 coffee pod machines, because he can use one for coffee and just wear the other one on his head. He'd love that, right? He would love that shit. But you're right. I mean, video conferences was like pre-COVID. That's Apple, NASA level, like that sort of company.
Aye.
Company that has a CEO, not a supervisor. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, why do we need it now? I understand a video conference because you're like talking with clients on the other side of the world, $1 million deals. Do you know what I mean? It's not like the TK Maxx crowd are just
talking to Dave and Yuri.
Exactly. You're just like,
why this case is stronger than every other case, and you can throw your phone off a wall with it.
Because isn't it?
I was sitting there going, yes.
Isn't it O2? It's O2, isn't it? You're doing stuff for.
Oh, we can't say where. It's just a phone chat.
So it's O2 then. I'll say it.
Beat that in post.
Yeah. But oh man, yeah, it's weird to think of like low level companies now being reliant on video communication for stuff. I mean, I get it if it's stuff that fundamentally matters, as I say, stuff to do with the stocks and the company or something. But if someone in TK Maxx is going, well, we're going to get these fucking Van Halen long johns in next week, is that okay with everybody? And you're like, here, there's no need for that. Do you know what I mean? Just email it.
Well, that's the thing, man. Every conference call is an email. It's a fucking email.
Yeah.
Email me, or do you know what? Put it in the WhatsApp group. I'll give you a thumbs up, and we can all move on with our lives.
Yeah, I have to say, like, I'm just remembering now that there's been many a time you've booked me for one of the gigs you've been running. You've set up a WhatsApp group to tell everybody, here's where it is, here's the start time, here's the lineup, and then you would leave the group. Like, you organise the thing.
I'm done. You can chat amongst yourselves. Yeah. I'll see you that night. I have no desire to converse with you between now and then. Man, I'm such an antisocial bastard. You know what?
COVID was probably a blessing for you, really, when you think of it. Like, this is great.
That's the thing, man. It's just like, I don't see people anyway. Like, you know what I mean? I go to gigs, see people, put up with them for an hour or two, and I go home.
Thanks. And
on that note,
yeah. But I have to say, like, I like the idea now of thinking that pretty much every company in the world, big or small, is heavily reliant on video calls now. Like, what do you think the Poundland work video calls would involve?
What colour face masks they're getting on this week? and why Poundland Oma hasn't sold as much Reese's Pieces as the other ones?
That's not.
Have you been asking at the counter? Do you want some more chocolate?
Yeah. Oh man, I hate anywhere that does that. It's a big thing for like Savers and Superdrug, where you go in to get your fucking Dick Sheaves, bleach, and like toilet roll, and then they're like, do you want to try the new fucking Ian Paisley fragrance for £12? And you're like, funny enough, I don't.
I'm a sucker for that crap. I can't, because the thing is, I've been in sales all my fucking life, so I know this wee 19-year-old sitting there, and if I don't take whatever muck he's trying to sell me, that he's going to get a bollocking later on. Like the amount of money I've spent over the years thinking to myself, I'll help this wee lad's figures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? His next 1-to-1 will be champion because I bought fucking
a jar of Ovaltine.
Packet of Kinder Bueno of them.
But it's white chocolate, limited edition. You have to do it. So do.
Like, do you want these brownie munchies? No, but I know that you're going to get a bollocking from that dickhead over there, but don't buy them, so just give me 10.
It is always shite as well. Like, I understand the principle of it, that it's never going to be anything good. Like, do you want this fucking Apple MacBook for £13 because you've bought this fucking red diesel today? But it's always it's always do you want this fucking multi-pack of Toblerone? It's limited edition flavour. What flavour? Pomegranate. You're like, ugh, I giz.
Aye, give it. Aye, if it helps you, out. Wait, like,
Yeah.
I know it's a Poundland I go to down the street from my place, so I walk in and know them all.
Mm.
But you want some of these? You're like, go on. You can't say no to them, like.
Yeah. It's.
And then what I'll do is I'll go. I do like the other. There's no word of a lie. I went in the other day and there was 4 of them standing at the counter, which was a surprise because normally there's one person fucking telling 20 million people in the fucking queue.
Yeah.
But there was 4 of them, and one of them went, "Here, do you want these?" And it was no wee Kinder fucking Bueno things, like the wee fucking. It was them, not the Buenos, the fucking wee Kinder bars anyway. And he went, "Do you want them?" And I went, "Aye, go on ahead." And then what I done was I went to the other 3 tills and took a box of theirs. So I bought 4 boxes of these things. So every single one of them got a hit. Every single one of them was 1 box down and had a steal. And in my head, that'll motivate them for the rest of the day. And I'm walking out the door. What the fuck am I going to do with these?
You're like a North Belfast Girl Scout or something. Just go to door.
Aye. I'm going, he's going to hit his numbers this week, but I'm going to be a diabetic by Thursday.
Just like, Dad, can you homeschool us today? Not feeling well, kids. I had 138 twirls. Not feeling great.
Mum, I'm trying to do my homework, and Daddy's swinging off the lights.
2 multi-packs of those Palm Bear teddy bear crisps. And a rusk. A full pack of rusks.
There's something I haven't bought in years.
Yeah. Years.
I used to buy them. I swear I used to buy them for the kids, and you'd be mushing one up with milk. When I was doing that, I was sitting in the driveway.
Yeah, nobody wanted to admit how nice they were, even as adults. You know what
Rusks are lovely.
Yeah.
Especially the apple rusks are nice.
Apple rusks?
Aye.
I didn't even know they did that. What
Oh,
other
you can get
flavour?
apple rusks. I'd be sitting mushing one up for the chair, just munching down on one. Like a happy day. So
Yeah.
You get that. Don't want it. It's fucking lovely.
Is there any others? What's the plain rusk? Is it just plain flavoured, isn't
I
it?
don't know what's in rusk.
Yeah. Oil, probably. There's
Oil.
definitely oil in everything.
Pre-slushy stuff. Hang on. I'll Google what's in rusks.
Yeah, go on Google that.
You're sitting there going, this is took a turn for the worse.
There we go. I remember rusks.
Wheat, flour, sugar, and guess what? Oil.
Is it right enough?
Swear to God. Wheat, flour, sugar, palm oil, which I thought was like evil. Is that not the stuff that... Aye. And raising agents. So there you go. There's oil and rusks.
Raising agents? Is that fancy word for Viagra, is it?
Viagra and your rusks.
I mean, that's why you had so many of them. The apple flavour, lovely.
I ended up with 2 more kids.
It's going, all I did was have 2 rusks, and suddenly she's pregnant again. Figure out the chemistry of that, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? The apple rusk, and then suddenly it was like a baby's arm howling an apple, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I remember from when I was young? I don't know if they still do it anymore, but if they do, I will, pardon me, I'll 100% go. 5 Alive. Do you remember that?
That's the orange juice stuff.
It was like there was many flavours, Terry. It was all multi flavour.
North Belfast in the 80s, orange was all we had.
Yeah, that's the problem even recently, for fuck's sake.
Yellow pack orange diluting juice.
Yeah, and the
That's me
Arabic.
showing me weight. Yellow pack.
You used to get that, and then Arabic Capri Sun from Lidl. It was like Capri Sunny. Do you remember that? Swear to God, it was spelled. The Capri was still the same. Capri, as if it's on like a fucking Ford, and the Sun was spelled SONNE and had the two dots above the E. Capri Sunny, and I was like, just get the normal stuff. It's not like you get like a pirate tape. Your dad's like, oh, I bought you the new Batman film there, and you're like, did you though? Or did some fella just film it in Lifford through the window from outside the studios?
I think you can still get 5 there.
I think you can. I just never see it. Do you know what I mean?
So I went, look, see, they just stopped doing things. Mrs. was nasty already, and I said, go and get me some timeouts.
Huh.
I need it for a joke. And she was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then she couldn't find any timeouts. And then my sister works for Cadbury's. So rung her. I went, they still make timeouts. We stopped doing it about 5 years ago, Ty. That poor woman traipsing around Asda.
So they don't do timeouts. They do
They're
multi.
not a thing anymore.
But I think, well, I still see the odd multi pack. I've never seen like the individual ones, but you can get like multi packs a lot, but like no, the single stick. Do you know what I mean? I've seen
Well,
that.
that's not a timeout. Timeout is 2 sticks.
Yeah.
That's half a timeout.
But if I get you 2 of the one sticks.
That's all right. They just done some very, 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 very dodgy Photoshop for the joke instead. Wasn't even like a joke.
Just all that rigmarole just for a joke that you're like, that's alright.
Do you know what it was? Sinn Fein brought out an Easter egg, and I thought, right, I'll do a wee video about their Easter egg, and you get the Easter egg, and it's, that's dead on. And the bar of chocolate in it, it's a timeout, but it's not a timeout. It's called Brits Out. That was the joke. No, I mean, like no thought, no effort, no nothing put in that. Like,
Yeah.
I sent her the Asda for 2 hours.
Yeah. I did hear about well, I was under the impression it was Jerry Adams specifically Easter eggs, but it was a Sinn Fein as a whole released a range of Easter eggs.
Sinn Fein released it wasn't even just an Easter egg, it was a Uniting Ireland Easter egg.
Right. So it was like an
Easter egg that was going to unite Ireland. Have you not seen the video of him launching it?
No, but I do know what someone's brought it up to me in another podcast, and I keep forgetting to do it. But I would love to. I must watch it.
It's brilliant. It is, honest to God. Like he turns around and he goes, even the unionists like Easter eggs. You know what I mean? As if we're all, as if every shinner in the land's been sitting there all like going, the unionists like Easter eggs. Jesus, they're human after all. Even the unionists like Easter eggs. It's better. Yeah. This Easter egg will unite the people of Ireland because the cows that gave them this, before I go on, the cows that gave the milk for this Easter egg grazed on the grassy slopes of the Boyne.
Jesus. Oh my God.
This will unite Ireland. And then he goes on to say, there are other things in with the Easter egg. Right? Now he's talking about this uniting Ireland and how it's lovely for the unionists and all the rest.
Yeah.
The other things in the Easter egg are a proclamation and an Easter lily.
Right.
Because everybody knows unionists love nothing more than a proclamation and an Easter lily.
Easter rising, fuck's sake.
But it's all right because the milk comes from the Boyne.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Of course it does, Jerry. Of course it fucking does.
I wonder, like, again, for some reason when someone did mention the fact that Sinn Féin were now releasing, Easter eggs and stuff for whatever reason, I just get the vision of the Easter bunny, just leaving the egg under your car for you to find in the morning. That's
the thing he does. He says at the start of it, this is a very special package. Sort of going, last time you handed over a very special package, straight one up.
Instead of time out, it's time's up.
And then at the end of it, Jesus, I'm going to ruin it for you now. At the end of it, there's no rhyme or reason. He just finishes, blah, 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 blah. Easter eggs in 1916, comrades fallen, blah, blah, blah. And then he just looks over and goes, Richard, beam me up.
Beam me up?
Beam me up. And then some of the dodgiest video effects you'll ever see just sort of blurs away.
Like a Star Trek sort of thing?
Aye, exactly that.
What the fuck is that about?
That's how I'm sitting watching going, what the... I mean, like, the thing is, you stop going, why the fuck is Sinn Féin bringing out an Easter egg to? Where the fuck did he get beamed to?
Captain Kirk's Bakery, there you go.
Like, what's going on? Is that how you got away with it for so long? It's the cops, Richard, beam me up. It's 2 minutes of sheer fucking hilarity.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, I watched it and just went, you know what, I'm quitting comedy because I could never write anything that fucking...
Oh, man. It seems Sinn Féin and Jerry Adams just seem to have this whole new fucking line of merch now. I think they have... Do you know what I mean? They probably have fucking, Sinn Féin ponchos for when gigs come back and for festivals.
You know what? See how you said, I think the Sinn Féin shop in Oma was selling ponchos. Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
But they had a Valentine's card. They brought out a Valentine's card.
Jesus Christ. What do the Valentine's cards look like? I mean...
I don't know. I haven't, like, because I keep meaning to go and Google it and find it because there's bits in there somewhere, like, you know what I mean? But I haven't seen. There was a Valentine's card and they brought out a St. Paddy's Day card.
I wonder if for something like, you are my Valentine, would you like to go out for dinner? I'll buy you a nice steak and a bottle of balaclava.
Roses are red, violets are blue. We don't fucking like them colours.
So we don't.
They are branching out. It's like trying around to playing the fucking traders, for Christ's sake. But I'm telling you what, watch that. There's 2 minutes of your life that it'll be 2 of the best spent minutes of your life. You go at yourself, just go, what is this like? Fucking. And then he starts talking Irish at one point, and I just look at him going, that boy's having a stroke.
Yeah. For sure. And you would know.
I would know. So I'm allowed to make them jokes.
Yeah. I am the same. I've had, because obviously my dad had one as well, because he heard you did it, so he was like, well, I want to do it because Terry did it. But oh my god, those Valentine's cards must be great. I want to see something along the lines of, well, love, you make me weak at the knees, and I'll reciprocate by kneecapping you. Do you know what I mean?
In my head, I was sort of sitting there thinking, our hearts are united, just like Ireland will be one day.
There's the possibilities are endless. I even think, like, for the picture, could you have something like, like the Lady and the Tramp with the 2 dogs, and they're both having the one bit of spaghetti. Imagine just the 2 balaclavas coming together over a jambon.
Oh, do you realize now the 2 balaclavas on, right? And one of the balaclavas is threading, right? And he's hitting the thread, and it's just slowly but surely coming over. Turns out it's Arlene. It's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, bollocks. That's a blind date gone wrong there. Like, no, regardless of your religious sort of views and your political views, that she's a munter. Like, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
And that, no, do you know what? I can't talk about it because it's like there once and got in bollocks.
Yeah. Was that the infamous time, or was this a separate time?
That was the infamous time. That was the infamous time when she described me as beneath contempt.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, actually, because that, for anybody that doesn't know, explain what happened there, because obviously you made, it was a tweet, wasn't it, that went...
It was a tweet, because, like, as well, I don't do social media, I do, I have it.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I'll, because everyone keeps saying, Terry, you need a presence on social media and all the rest, and I'm sort of going, I'm an old man. You know what I mean? Like, that's a young boy's game. You know what I mean? So I don't use it, and then when I do use it, no one looks at what I'm doing, and you're like, well, I'm not doing that again. But anyway, I was sitting, this is years ago, like, it was when Wills and Kate was their first baby.
Yeah.
I was laying up in the house, watching the news, and they kept going over the thing, and it was all these flag shaggers, like, just, lunatics standing outside this hospital. And it was just, there's no news yet, back to the studio. 10 minutes later, there's no news yet, back to the studio. It was like a shit transfer deadline day.
Yeah.
And the wee guy outside the hospital went, what was he says? He says, the Duchess entered the hospital this morning via the back door. And I just immediately tweeted, the news says the Duchess entered the hospital via the back door. If only William had done the same, I wouldn't be listening to this shit.
Yeah. And it went mad.
Just a wee sort of, and the thing is as well, I mean, what I'm like as well on stage and stuff. I mean, anal sex jokes aren't my, topic of material.
Yeah, it's really not indicative of your stand-up at all.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You talk about...
I've been told well, you could do comedy for kids. I could have, I don't know. So anyway, I put that out. Thought nothing more of it, but then it was retweeted by the Sinn Fein MLA for Fermanagh and South Tyrone at the time. Yeah. And once he retweeted it, blew up. Jim Allister dived on it. Once he dived on it, it ended off in the newsletter. It ended off. Nolan was talking about it.
Yeah.
Barry McElduff was on the Nolan show, and he was asked about it. And McElduff turns around and goes, he says, well, this tweet was put out by a so-called comedian. Yeah. I'm straight in my phone, the Nolan show. Put me on the iPhone. Tell him. Yeah. So round. Arlene got wind of it. She described me as beneath contempt. Do you know how far that got, actually? There's a boy I know, comedian I know in Australia, and he messaged me, middle of the night, I guess this message. He says, mate, they've just mentioned your tweet on Good Morning Australia.
Jesus Christ. That's fucking mad.
And the other thing is, but what that showed me was that social media is just like it's a weird and wonderful world. But like, there was one saying to me at gigs, oh, you're Twitter famous now, like I'll launch you, Yeah. You know what I mean? And 10 years later, I'm still playing to 4 people.
Yeah, you're talking to me on a fucking Monday night.
But there was ones going, oh, you need to capitalise on that ball. And going, what do you do? Like?
Yeah, well, as I say, it's...
But you know what I love, though? Yeah. See, anytime anything happens with the Royals, just take a quick look at Northern Irish Twitter. There's a handful of comedians, and you can see they're just firing out tweets about their roids like a mad thing, just hoping that a shinner retweets it.
Yeah, exactly. They sort of try and jump on the bandwagon. But I understand your predicament too, in that it really, as I said, it's not indicative of you as a stand-up. So probably if you had a lot of people that came to see you as a result of that tweet, I'm not saying that they wouldn't be disappointed, because obviously you still got good stuff, but if they were expecting one thing and you do your usual act, that could have been a weird vibe. Do you know what I mean? I think like Mickey got that from Monumental. A lot of people came to see him on his tour, haven't seen him on Monumental, and haven't seen nothing else of his body of work, and then suddenly he's going, I fucking shit in someone's fucking eye one time, and then they're like,
it's funny, what I call it, it's there's a lot of ones they got. On Jake's tour, he's got the Blame Game, and he's got the Irish News article that he does every week, and that's it. He'll start on his last tour anyway. He started every show by going, right, so where's the Irish News crowd? And the roar would go up, and he would turn around and go, you don't know what you're in for here, like, because they've turned up expecting, the political satirist, and then they can't, you're like, and then he goes, the Blame Game crowd, where are you? Like, yep, it's like, right. It seems that a lot of people tell him he doesn't say much on the Blame Game.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying. He would say to the audience, I don't say much in the Blame Game. He goes, I say loads. He says, they just can't fucking use the half of it.
That's true.
That's what you hear the night.
Yeah. Because you've been doing warm up for Jake now the last quite good few tours, mate, hasn't it? It's been a fair while, is it?
4. I think it's 4.
4.
He'll tell you it's 5, but I'm convinced it's 4.
Well, you'd reckon he would. Well, both of you should know, to be fair.
Well, he's 60 and I've had 2 strokes, so there's not much hope.
Was there much difference between the strokes? Do you know what I mean?
No.
No, it's still just equally shite.
I knew what it was the second time.
Yeah. You didn't have to Google it the second time.
See, the first one was worse than the second one. The first one, it was. The first one, because they say it's called a mini stroke. It wasn't a full-on stroke I had, it was a mini stroke. But what they said, look, it wasn't a mini stroke, but it wasn't a major stroke. You know what I mean? So it was basically, I had like a fair to middling stroke.
Yeah, like a mediocre stroke.
And it left, there's permanent damage in there somewhere, like, you know what I mean? The second one, it was just a wee, it was like an aftershock of the first one. So I got over the second one a lot quicker. Off the first one, man, I swear to God, I didn't take any time off work.
You didn't?
I had it on a Sunday. I was off on the Monday, right? So I went into the hospital on the Sunday night, right? They wanted to keep me in, but I'd work on Tuesday, right? So I went to work on Tuesday, as you do.
So North Belfast, it's ridiculous. Still went to work, fucking. But I love how, by the way, just before you go on, I just love how you said, well, had the stroke on the Sunday, I was off on the Monday. It's almost as if like you planned it. Just going, well, I'm off. I've got a long weekend, so I'm going to have a stroke here because I can't. Going to have the strawberry milk and have a stroke.
I was sitting counting the money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I was like 10, 20, 30.
Aye.
I mean, I was it. I didn't know. Well, that was the thing. I did know. I did know what came after 30 when you're counting tenors. And I knew it, but I just couldn't find it. So 10, 20, 30. What happens next here? And then my signature changed.
Right.
For God, because I was saying it again that after got someone else, it was one of our advices here, count that money, because I didn't tell anyone either. It was just like, why is Terry acting strange?
Yeah.
Hungover. I had to count the money and then I signed it off. And I was like, that's not my signature. And I went home and I swear to God, I sat for about a good hour trying to do my signature.
Yeah.
I was looking at my driving license and all going, that's not my signature. I've never been able to do the signature I had.
Yeah. That's
like some people wake up speaking fluent French. I can't say my name anymore.
Fucking hell. I know my dad.
The second one was just a blip.
Yeah.
But I think what made the second one worse was because again I had that in like October time and I went out on Jake's tour in December. I told him, I went, listen, like just so you know, if I keel over on stage, this is what it is. Just just drag me off and get you on with your shoulder. Get through his tour. And I was like March time. I thought, happy days, right? That's that behind me. I've had the stroke. I've got over it. I can still do stand up. I can count money again. I'm getting on with life. And then just a week or two after that tour, finished bang, hit the floor, just looking up the ceiling, going, not the shit again.
Yeah.
So, and then it was like a month or so after that, I was grand again. Still the odd wee blip, like there's dates I'm on stage and I just forget words.
Yeah.
Like, don't forget what I'm talking about. Don't forget the bit. I forget words.
The words.
Like, there's nothing going on up there.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, to me, it feels like hours, but because I pointed out to someone one night when it happened me, and they went, Terry, it was 30 seconds later. You know, you wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
It just looked like you were pausing for the bit. But like, there's times I'm up there, just go, ooh. But the thing is, but neither when I've done a tour about it, I've spoken about it plenty, and majority of people come say, you know, I've had 2 strokes.
Yeah.
I've got the perfect out. It means if I forget a bit, or if I fluff a punchline, or it doesn't matter what I make a balls off, I can just turn around and go here, but 2 strokes.
Yeah. Well, I suppose
you
did it sort of smart. You sort of brought awareness to it via obviously doing a show and doing a tour to that show. So obviously you were appealing to the post-stroke demographic, you know what I mean? And they will come in vast numbers. My dad still calls himself Post-Stroke Pat, as in like Postman Pat, and he sings like his own wee theme song. He's like Post-Stroke Pat, and just danders about. And he was weird because obviously he's still recovering. But it's like
that's the thing. I sit and laugh and take a piss out of it, but there is that serious side to it as well. Like, I mean, my ma's had 7.
7.
She's had 4 mini strokes, 3 full blown super strokes.
Fuck.
Like the last one she had, there was a couple of doctors looking at her brain scans, and we student with them, and the doctor turns around and says, the wee student, so where do you think that patient is? And he went in the morgue, and he went, nope, that's where we're there. There was my ma sitting up playing Candy Crush.
Yeah, I suppose it's fundamentally going to affect you in different ways. Like my dad's fine. Like his mobility's pretty alright. He uses a walking stick most of the time, but he doesn't really need it. It's more for peace of mind. And then he was telling me as well that when he needs to cross like if he's going somewhere that involves crossing very busy roads in Strabane, he brings the walking stick because he knows cars will stop and let him past. But he doesn't really need it, so he'll only use the stick when he's on the actual road. And then, like, as soon as he crosses, he's just like stick back under his shoulder and be like,
on the corner, like he's leading an orange parade.
When I walk, singing a Hall of Notes, he loves it. You know, but again, he's kind of made the most of it, and that he was like, you know, he's like, you know, there's been some positives from a stroke, and I was like, right, elaborate there. And he was, well, see the Zimmer frame I had over there, I had that at the start when I got home. Well, I don't need to buy a new fucking air for the clothes, do you? Because you can just hang the clothes on that and they'll dry rightly in front of the radiator.
I thought you were going to say you didn't need a Zimmer frame anymore so we could see he was getting better.
Oh, no. His mobility's still fucked. He's just like...
He has a fucking mobile clothes horse.
I think he'd rather just have dry, clean clothes than have the ability to walk comfortably. He's like, here, fucking, that cardigan of mine smells good, looks good, nice and fucking ironed, dried rightly, but nah, I can't walk in anything but circles. It's fucking weird, man.
It's mad though, man. Like you fall and break a leg, you hurt your arm, like you can see it. It's broken. You can see it getting better. See when it's your brain, it's frightening. Like
yeah.
Well, like, I remember what like I did. I remember the first night I went on stage after. I was shitting myself.
I'd say so, man.
I mean, you know, like I'd be shitting myself before I go on stage anyway. I think if you're not, there's something wrong. Like. But like I was just like, can I still do this?
Yeah. You
know what I mean? And it's just shit going. What happens if I just forget what I'm talking about? What happens if my brain just lets me down here? Like, you know what I mean? And it took a right wee while to get over that. Because part of me was going, you know, you've a good crack at this. You've done some lovely gigs. Maybe it's time to knock it in the head here. Like.
Oh, see what you mean.
I think Jake's tour, that being able to go out and do that, like, because we've done the Opera House, and I'd never done the Opera House before. And getting out and doing that 2 nights in a row and getting away with it. Yeah. I was like, right, I'm all right. My brain's all right. You know, that was me sort of going, right, I'm better.
Yeah.
I can get on with it. You know what I mean?
Did you do anything in terms of, like, you know, to try and ease your sort of worries in terms of remembering the stuff? I mean, did you sort of spend more time, like, trying to memorize it or have notes on stage, or did you have any tips or tricks that kind of ease the transition?
See, I think that was the thing that annoyed me the most about it, was because I've never done the writing on my hand or notes or a set list anywhere.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong, I have a set list in my back pocket, and if it's not in that back pocket, it's just one of my rituals.
I
know
agree.
what I mean? The set list goes in the back pocket. Never had to look at it. But that's what I was thinking. I was like, right, hang on here. I'm gonna have to change the way I do this. all together. And all I done, man, was just literally just as my name was about to be called, I was still sitting scanning this thing.
Yeah,
I walked on, it would go into the back pocket. You know what I mean? And then, as I say, it's finally went, you know what, actually, I can talk about this. So if it does fluff, I can just turn around and go, well, here's why I'm tripping over words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they're all sitting there, everyone's sitting there going, this boy shite. So I had 2 strokes, and they're like, oh, shit. Like, oh, sitting here being nasty about the poor disabled fellow. Right?
You've got the
But it was literally just it was just how it was just, you know what it was fucking downright stubbornness.
No, see what you're
I think that's what it was. It was just stubbornness. It was like I'm not gonna, you know,
yeah,
I'm not gonna give up this. I'm not gonna give up on this, and just kept plugging away at it.
Yeah.
And you know what thing? I went back and found old notebooks and I read through them. There was material that I forgot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, there's comedy gold has fallen out of my head.
Yeah. That's
class,
man.
And going, this is new material. And then you do it on stage, and someone comes and see you afterwards and go, I've seen you do that a million times.
Yeah, fuck's sake.
I don't give a shit, it's new to me.
Yeah. The time it is. I suppose now you've got just the ultimate comeback. Even if anybody heckles you, you can just go, I had 2 strokes, that's a sin. And they'll be like, oh, sorry about that. And they'll get you a pint of stout. You know what I mean?
Would you go up the ward too and Anna Skellin and shit at the people in there?
Do you reckon then, you know, when the restrictions and stuff lift and stand up is back, you'll be all right in terms of trying to find your feet to fit again? Because you went through something that's similar, but obviously miles harder. Because most comedians I've talked to have worried about, you know, the rust and trying to find their feet again with it, and even write material during lockdown feels very weird, very sort of temporary, because I don't think anybody's going to want to talk about it, you know?
Like, loads of people have been saying to me, I'm sure you've wrote loads of material during lockdown, and you're sort of going, oh, what the fuck are you going to write about? You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, the majority of stuff I do is about life and just stuff that's happened.
Yeah.
And like, nothing's happened.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and the thing, I mean, I think we all have stuff about COVID and we all got stuff about lockdown and you know, like, I mean, you could do an hour on lockdown, you could do an hour on homeschooling, you could do an hour on, you know, needing a haircut. Like, you know,
Yeah.
But my worry is when we go back to it, audiences probably aren't going to want to hear that.
I agree, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then there's part of me thinking, well, we've all lived it. It's a shared experience. And the fact we can all look and take the piss out of it, maybe they'll be like, oh, burn it, you know. But to be honest, man, I reckon once we all get back to it, it'll a gig or two. A gig or two, and it'll just come back to you as well.
Yeah, it just takes actual just getting back on the horse sort of thing, for sure.
I'd say once you've been up once. Say I was lucky, I got to do one in the Limelight in October.
Aye. I remember seeing it. Was that with Tim and
what do you call him? Neil Downer.
Aye, awesome.
And I hadn't been on, as I say, I think the last gig I did was February. With Jake.
Yeah.
And I done a couple of Facebook Lives things, you know what I mean, just to do something on a Friday night. Like,
yeah.
Plus the fact I said to the missus, I says there's loads of bands doing like Facebook Lives. I may do Facebook Live comedy, and she went, sure, who'd want to watch that?
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the gun that was thrown down.
Yeah.
But I went up that night thinking, right, I haven't done this in so fucking long. And honest to God, man, like, walked up, there was still, and you know, like, you know when you get that first laugh?
Yeah.
Like at any gig, you get that first laugh, and that's you're away.
By your ground, yeah.
Same. Once I got that first laugh that night, that was me. I was in it. I was away, and I was the MCing that night, so a bit of crowd work and a bit of material, and it felt like I'd never been away from it. It didn't feel like there'd been a 6-month gap.
Oh, that's good.
Or 8, whatever it was, and I reckon you'll be the same. Everyone will be the same. I reckon when you get up to do that first one, first laugh, and you'll remember why you do it, and just you'll be straight back in there. Like,
yeah,
you know,
that's a good way of putting it. Everybody else that I've spoken to has kind of been very, like, sort of very apprehensive about the whole thing, and I think you do have a point in that trying to write stuff during lockdown is difficult. I mean, if you're trying to write about the stuff that's happened, you know, I assume your show would be just called Waiting for Guns N' Roses to finally happen. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, here, mate, don't talk about it. I bought them tickets in 2019. Now, it's not the latest Axl Rose has ever been for a gig.
Yeah.
In fairness.
Yeah.
Because that was all meant to be part of my 40th birthday. I was meant to be going to see Guns N' Roses the week before my 40th birthday. I was like, right, that's it. That's happy days. And then it was pulled, obviously.
Yeah.
And then there was that wee break of about 3 or 4 weeks when we could all fucking party in our gardens again.
Yeah.
So I bought a massive white tarpaulin, just put it up on the side of the house, bought a projector, and beamed the Guns N' Roses gig onto the side of the house.
Fucking good shout, Ted. It's a good shout.
I rang a bunch of my mates. I just get down here. I says, you're not allowed to sleep. You're not allowed to stay in the house because the restrictions still work. You weren't allowed to stay in people's houses.
Yeah.
So I says, bring tents. So it was about 10, 15 tents out our side of our house.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses on a big screen and just sitting there getting the hammer.
Unreal. Like a mini
And
sling.
then I genuinely, stupidly probably thought I'd get to go this June.
Yeah.
I just had this crazy notion now that everyone will be vaccinated by then. I'll just go see Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. Well, has it
That's
been
2022? I don't even know what the tickets are anymore.
Yeah. Is it like, has it been cancelled or just been like postponed?
Put off the next year.
Yeah, so there is still a date for it.
Aye, for now.
I suppose that's not the worst. Has there like a support act been announced or anything? I mean,
who's the support act? They announced the support act. Oh, what do you call them? They're like a metal version of the Village People.
Steel Panther. It's not Steel Panther, is it?
No, I know them. Bro's been to see them, he says. I can't remember. And then somebody, Charles.
Ray Charles, happy days.
Me and using comedy, we know no one gives a shit about the support act.
You know better than most. Unless
I'm the perennial support act. I'm the Aish of the fucking Northern Irish comedy world.
Yeah.
Open for everybody, but can't sell tickets on me.
We just need to hope now that whoever's opening for Guns N' Roses that all the members have strokes beforehand. That's
the thing. Well, it doesn't matter what I go to. I stand and watch the support act and go, I feel your pain.
Yeah, it must be tough, man. As it
in fairness to Jake, now he closes the bar when I'm up, and every night I've opened for him, I've had a full house in front of me.
See, yeah, that's good. I mean, I assume there'd be a lot of people that wouldn't do that. You know, I don't have much experience of it, but I'd assume most of the time they're like, look, you're here to do the fucking groundwork, so I can just go out and have a lovely time. But you're getting...
No, Jake's right and good about it, man. He puts me on the poster every year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, fair play.
He puts me on the poster, and he's like, when anytime we're talking about it, he calls it our tour and our show, and he says like, you're part of the show. So he closes the bar for me.
Oh, that's great.
They called in, and they all come in, and they're all sitting there going, "Fucking Jake O'Kane, brilliant."
Yeah.
And I come in. But then the thing is, because I've done it with them for the 4 years now, they know I'm coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's nice that you sort of rock up and you go, "These are actually expecting me, and they know I'm coming."
Yeah.
And they're laughing.
That's
but if I put me on the show on tomorrow, 6 of them would buy tickets.
Yeah. It's fucking it's so difficult, isn't it? Sometimes. Have you any more kitchen gigs planned? Because for anybody who doesn't know, you were doing stand up from your kitchen.
From my kitchen.
From live streams. How did you find that? Like, I mean, that you seem to enjoy them.
See, the thing is, man, see, that's another thing. I've always done it, but then after I had the stroke, I've done more of it. Like, I'll sit the night before a gig in the kitchen and sort of loosely run what I'm thinking of doing. Out loud, on my own. You know what I mean? The cat will be sitting there going, "Oh, this shit again." Like, you know what I mean? And I'll just loosely go over it and I'll let myself ramble on. And sometimes I'll go off on one and I'll say something and I'll go, "Fuck, write that down." Like,
yeah. So
standing in my kitchen with a microphone talking to nobody is something I've been doing for 10 years. So it was basically just, all it did was let people watch me do it.
Yeah. And fair play.
It was good crack. Like, you know,
yeah.
It was, and like ones were saying to me, "Oh, you can't do it without the audience feedback." No, which is true. It's like it's never going to be the same without an audience feedback in front of you. But like, you'd see a whole fucking ream of smiley faces go up the screen, and you sort of go, "Right, people's enjoying this." Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I had a bit of crack, and anyone that watched them enjoyed them. Like,
that's all. And
I done one, and it was literally to prove the way from someone will watch it. And then ones came back and me going, "Oh, do another one." I was like, "All right, I'll do another one." And I got done 5 of them in the end.
Fuck, I mean, I know like stand up in general takes balls, but like there's a whole new level of ballsiness because of COVID between doing like live streamed comedy gigs to nobody and doing like Zoom gigs and stuff like that. That's like stuff that you would have considered pre-COVID. If they're like, "Oh, can you just do this conference for us and just do like a virtual thing?" Unless it was for a stupid amount of money, you'd be like, "Nah, wouldn't touch it."
Nah.
There's now
even I asked the God when it was, I done something like that once. What I call Matthew Collins was on the gig in Belfast. I used to do one on a Sunday night, and I was double booked. I wasn't double booked. I rang and said, "Listen, that Sunday we've been, I've got something else on. What do you reckon?" He says, "I go on ahead and do it." And then he says to me, he says, "Well, why don't you we'll do like a video gig, we'll stream you into the black box. I was like, aye, whatever.
Yeah.
But that was different. That was me on a screen and people sitting in the pub.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but like when I done one Zoom gig and it was too technical. You know, you're sort of sitting there and next thing someone's doing their dishes and you're like, right, hang on, how do I mute these? And I was just like, there's too much work involved in that. Like,
Yeah.
you know what else I thought? I had to do a warm-up gig, studio warm-up gig for a studio Zoom audience.
Jesus. How did that
So I've
work?
got a big fucking huge TV in front of me, all these wee faces.
Fuck.
Go. Right? Gets worse, we're muted. So I you know what I mean? I'm sitting looking at them going, well, that guy's laughing.
Yeah.
That one's took his headphones off and pissed off. Well, that one's making a cup of tea. You know, it was a weird, and after 10 minutes, I was just standing there going, this is the most bizarre thing. Like,
Yeah.
the first one was a disaster. Honestly, when the first one I got home and cried, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. It sounds tough.
I have just embarrassed myself, like, you know what I mean? And then I got another 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And you know what it was? I just went up going, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
And
That's the vibe.
right. They went all right, but just sitting looking at a screen of people going, what the? and the thing is, you know yourself, the BBC studios, there's normally like, all right, you've maybe 200 people in an audience, but you have sound man and cameraman, and there's just people everywhere.
Yeah.
It was literally me, one sound guy, and the screen.
Jesus.
And this huge studio up in Blackstaff, you're just sitting there going, this is mental.
Yeah. It's like you're on the Truman Show or something.
I mean, that was the call. It was like, that's exactly what it was like. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just going, oh, at least unmute these people. And then I sort of understood why they didn't.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think what you've alluded to there as well is quite good in that because of people now doing like a lot of virtual gigs and people are sitting in their houses, it's almost like there's new ways to be heckled because it's not just like in the bar they can go, you're fucking bollocks or hang yourself or something like that. Now they can be like, you know what, I'm just gonna make a smoothie when he's on it. I'm
gonna beat shit out of my child here. Fuck off, I'm watching the funny man.
Just some psycho with like a wet fish and him naked just.
You know what I find myself doing? This is how much of a loser I am. Like, I'm sitting there and have all these people from me blathering away. I'm looking at their decor, like. Honest to God, like, I need blinds for the kitchen at the minute. I'm sitting there going, there's nice blinds. Fuck, that boy's TV. I don't say that boy's TV. Fuck me, there's that PlayStation 5 he has one underneath that. I'm looking at what they're wearing. Like, I turn around again, these people are muted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Away. I points at the screen. Like, walks up to the TV, points at the screen. He doesn't know what I'm pointing at. And I went, what fucking Linfield shirt you're wearing? How dare you turn up to this thing in your own house?
Yeah. Dressed like a Nazi or something out there.
Saying to people, it's like, you might have put a bit of effort in. It's in your fucking living room.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if people did that even when they could go back to bars where you just look out and there's someone like dressing gown, slippers, smoking a pipe, you know what I mean, with a vibrator on and
drunk in North Belfast, but we've been doing that for a year.
I know.
I must take you to Cassidy's when it opens again.
Oh, for sure. Like that, I'll go anywhere. I will go anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not missing the boozer, you know.
No, I can't say I miss it overall. I miss sort of, you know, having to sort of settle for a tin of Guinness instead of a draft pint. That sort of vibe and the banter. Not so much, you know, to be fair, I kind of feel bad overall for the hospitality industry in that anytime restrictions were lifted, I went out for dinner with Lisa and it was great. Fucking safe as fuck, sanitizer, plexiglass when you went. No, it was safe as fuck, and that cost a lot of money to fucking set up. And then anytime we went back into lockdown, it was hospitality that was blamed. And it felt bad. I felt bad about that aspect of it. So I want to see the bars back for the reason that they deserve to kind of start making money again. Do you know what I mean?
There's a guy I know, he owns a couple of bars Nova, and it honest to God, he's like, anytime I speak to him, like, because the bars he owns across the road from shop I'm working on, like,
yeah.
And anytime I see him, he's smiling his face. He's not complaining. He's not moaning. He's not giving off. He just go, look, it is what it is, and I'll get open some. You know, I'll get open again. I'm going to do it open again. You know what I mean? Like, and he's but I mean, it's the guts of 12 months, and boys haven't been able to make money.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And as you say, I mean, and he spent a clean fortune getting the place. Like, I mean, he was ripping seats out, and he was building, like, men and building stuff every hour day of the week. And I was in a couple of times for dinner, I was in a couple of times for a quick beer after work, and it was, as you say, it was safe as fucking houses, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, no, you're close. I mean, I seen it. It was the 23rd of December, because they closed the pubs the night before Christmas Eve. I walked out, and he was sitting out the front of his bar having a couple of jars himself, and I says, I'm sure you're pissed off. And he just looked at me and went, he says, here, he says, it is what it is, smile on his face. And I just thought, you know what, fucking fair play.
Fair play, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Just, you know, I mean, I'm looking at him going, I'm sure you're devastated, but he just, you know, he wasn't like anyone to feel sorry for him. He was just, I'll get there. And then he's not, I don't know what the truth is, but apparently none of his places are opening until it's fully open. He's not even opening for the outdoor thing. He's just went, right, I'll sit tight and I'll wait.
Yeah.
And even in 2 weeks in December, there was 2 weeks, there was a point where all the bars were closed and let them open for like a week or two.
Yeah. It's just,
I vaguely seem to remember. He didn't bother. He just went, no, I'm not going to bar.
Yeah. It's,
you know, I mean, he just thought, I'll keep her shut for those 2 weeks. And I think there's a lot of bars that done that. I think the thinking behind that was, right, we'll just stay closed and we can't be blamed for it.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, they had to think, there was a few places, obviously, before we went into the official lockdown that March, you know, there was a few places, you know, that chose to stay open for whatever reason, even though we knew we were basically there was going to be a lockdown announced soon. And sure, between all the social medias, people were going, this is a fucking disgrace, and people were taking photos, people outside having smokes, and you know, maybe it's Belfast, so they could probably get away with it, but in smaller towns, you know, people wouldn't forget that shit at all, like, so.
No, that's the next, I'm not especially, it's actually Tyrone, you know yourself, Tyrone, you can't get away with fucking nothing.
Yeah, exactly, man.
I don't think anyone ever has an affair in this place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been such an interesting fucking year. I've enjoyed sort of doing like more WoodsTalk episodes with guests and stuff just to see how everybody is, but it's and when everything's, you know, it's basically like what the difference of a couple of weeks between the outdoor pubs and eating, between that and when everything's back to normal in terms of that. It's
the 24th of May.
Yeah.
You said everybody, like, you can gear out people in.
Yeah, so that's not too bad, to be fair. I mean, I won't rush back, but I just like having the option of doing things again, because like you know, you were saying about, you know, work calls and stuff, and then you start to fixate on fucking banal stuff like you were doing in the studio. I'm the same, do you know what I mean? In terms of like, you know, work calls and stuff where we occasionally have video, and I'm like you, I'm just looking at the background, just going, oh, what the fuck is that? Are those curtains fully lined? What the fuck? That here, God bless, because they must have caught in. Blinds are dear. Blinds are fuck. I never knew blinds were dear, sir.
Penny, they're not cheap.
They're not cheap.
They're not cheap. Especially when Mrs. McHugh wants them in the next.
You're like, God bless you.
Fucking perfectly good Harry Corey over there. No, I'm going to neck.
You can
get Harry Corey blinds. I'm going to treat myself. They're fucking blinds.
You can get blinds for £6 if you spend a tenner in fucking Superdrug, right?
As I say, I live in the middle of fucking nowhere. Who's looking in?
Because you're not even looking out.
Can I go blinds in this room? You look at that, it's just pitch black. There's nobody there. No one's going to look at me. I have nothing to look at. Don't need blinds. Don't buy blinds. Don't buy blinds. Just spend it on something decent. Buy yourself a PS5 instead.
Yeah, I might just get big.
Buy yourself 4 PS5s for the price of blinds. I'm such an old bastard. What is wrong with
me? Yeah. What do you think, before we finish up, is probably the most old bastard thing that you've ever said or ever done? You know, the point where you're like, am I turning into one of my parents now? Do you know what I mean? More so your dad, obviously, but you're like, here.
If I was to list them all, it would be I'll just finish on this. Like, it's recently, I turned 40 this year, last year, some fucking year, I know. And it's just like, I'll be shouting at the kids to put a coat on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what? Probably the worst one was I walked in the living room one day and the light was on and the TV was on and there was no one in the room. Right? And I went full psycho. I went full, like, 0 to 60, giving it the whole fuck's sake, lights on. Who's them lights for? The Invisible Man? Who's watched the fucking TV? No one in here watched the TV. What? Did you ever hear that thing beeping? You ever see that thing beeping in the kitchen? Well, that's the top-up meter. See when it's beeping? That's because there's no money left and I have to put money in that I work hard for. That's what that is. You know why that happens? Because you just fucking... No one else in the room.
Yeah.
No one else in the room.
Yeah.
Trish is in the kitchen. All the kids are in their bedrooms, and all you can hear is the muffled tones of me guldering at
Oh,
nobody.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I stopped, I caught myself on, I just went, oh, you're so your dad.
Yeah. If that's
You're so your dad.
the first sign is when you're like muttering to yourself. Do you know what I mean? For ages. It's not like a what the fuck. It's like a full TED talk, and it's
Oh,
exclusively to you. You're like, well, I suppose I'll have to fucking heat the dinner because nobody else is going to fuck about in this fucking house. I found my old bastard moment, and what alarmed me most about it, honestly, was that what I said was word for word the way my dad said it, and the way he delivered it. That was like I was doing like a fucking Rory Bremner esque legit impression of him. Where I shouted to Lisa. I don't know why this annoyed me so much, but there was just something about it where I was just like, what I say? Right. I was like, will you close that fucking door? You're letting the heat out. And then I was like,
oh,
You're,
I've done that one.
and then letting the draft in. The draft. The dreaded. Like, you're letting that draft in. Fuck's sake.
Do you know, for years, my mum used to talk about letting a draft in.
Yeah.
And like, for years, I thought there was this giraffe roaming the streets of North Belfast. And if I didn't close the door, it was going to come into my house.
Let the draft in.
You're going to let that giraffe in? And like, I was like,
jeez.
I've done the heat in the street. What am I heating the street? Don't even live in a street. Live in a field. Am I heating the street here or what?
Oh, I was like, were you born in a field? That was always the thing you got when you left. Were you born in a field? And you're like, well,
actually, that was a culty thing.
You were like, you should know where I was born. you should have an idea.
Born or not? What?
Oh, I kind of like being an old bastard though. Like I can't, like, there's moments where I'm like, oh, I like being an old bastard. I don't want to be a carbon copy of my dad, but I'm alright with being an old bastard. You know what I mean? Where I'm just like something like when when you go do your big shop and you're like just putting everything in the basket and you're like, I just want to get the fuck out of here. But no, sometimes you might fire a tin of beans in a bit too harshly, and Lisa be like, why are you being so harsh? I'm like, I just want to get the fuck out of here. So I'm literally just like shot put and javelin, just courgettes and tins of beans, and get the fuck. And she's like, will you be careful of those? And I'm like, nah, I need to get out of here because I'm fucking surrounded by people who aren't in a rush. And my favourite people in the world are the people who are in a rush, even if they're a bit rude. You're like, you know what, God bless you, because you'll be out of my way in a wee second.
Quicker because you're going about your business.
Yeah. See the people that window shop during the big shop. Window shopping's fine if you're going to like Clothes, HMV. See the people who go to the big shop and window shop, be like, well, we get some brie. And I'm like, will you get a noose? And just fuck. Do you know what I mean?
Buy one of them big knives. Big knife. Buy one of them. I'm not sure who it's for.
Definitely get a serrated edge so it'll take longer.
Someone actually posted my Facebook, and people don't normally post on my page, but posted on the page went, it's good to see Terry McHugh still a grumpy old bastard. I was like, what's this?
Yeah.
He says it was hilarious to hear him explain to his daughter that there was no Easter eggs left in Asda because, and I quote, Oma is a shithole.
What was a shithole?
That's me storming around Asda trying to get him like, Daddy, why is there no Easter eggs? Because Oma's a shithole, like, come on,
You're in well with Sinn Fein though, based off that tweet. They should have sorted you out with some of their own. Do you know?
Party could we get them in Belfast?
Here, they could have just carried them down and fucking left them under the car fee. That could have been
it. Here is your special package.
Oh man, I have to say it's been good chatting to you. Thanks very much for coming on. Hope you enjoyed it.
Well, thanks for having me. It's nice to see someone who either A, I don't work with, or B, I'm related to.
Yeah.
Or I'm responsible for.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you start homeschooling me
if you want. It's the longest
want.
conversation I've had in a year where the other person didn't ask me for money.
Oh man, see, it's either that or the standard like COVID phrases where like, isn't this fucking mad? And you're like, I can't do the COVID small talk. Do you know what I mean? And hopefully, do you know what I'm hoping going forward very quickly is that, you know the way sometimes if you get, I haven't got it myself, but I hear if you get Uber or when you go for like spa treatments, there's an option when you book online to go, if you want to speak, the masseuse or the driver will speak to you, but you can opt out. Same way you can opt out of fucking emails, you can go, I don't want to speak. That should be on every single thing going. Do you know what I mean?
Ever. Aye, like it should just be if someone goes up, well, what's crack? You should be able to just, I'm sorry, but I opted out of your marketing.
Can't do it.
I could be on to something there. Just,
Yeah.
No.
Just
I
not.
tick the box. I piss off and get my head.
Yeah, that's why like I love like self checkouts and fucking when you go into McDonald's, you don't have to speak to them. Just ding 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 ding.
Aye, it's just
Mozzarella sticks. Yeah, that's the best, man.
But I'm an antisocial fucker.
Yeah, see the next episode.
I don't have to have human interaction.
See the next episode we do this, we'll just not speak, and it'll be great. I'll just sit, and I'll figure out a way of just piping in a bit of Guns N' Roses, and we'll just sit in silence. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. Even though,
and then other antisocial people could watch it, and so they could sit and just go,
they'd be like, they're doing a fucking great job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They look how good they are at doing nothing and not speaking to each other. Do you know what I mean?
They go tell their mates, here, I watched this thing online for an hour and a half. No one fucking said a thing.
all we do, like playing some Guns N' Roses or even just some spa music from Spotify, and we could both just sit with fucking cucumbers on our eyes and do you know what I mean? And then just every so often a wee bit of Guns N' Roses. I'm not a massive fan personally, but I like a couple of the bits. So I'm like, I can put on a wee bit of that. The thing is with Guns N' Roses, for me, they were just overhyped, and then by the time I listened to them, I was like, nah. Do you know what I mean? So I actually blame the people.
They're the greatest band ever.
Are they though?
Yes.
Like, people are like, Appetite for Destruction, man. I'm like, yeah, there's some decent stuff on it. Do you know what I mean?
You've been talking around Guns N' Roses. People like, when I went to see Guns N' Roses in Slane, what they should have done was played Sweet Child of Mine at the very start of the gig, and then went, right, everyone that was here to hear that, you can go home and you can rest them.
Yeah.
But honestly, Slice is the greatest human being ever.
He's a good lad. Yeah.
He dropped dead on stage one time.
Yeah, that's right.
Like actually just gone. Finished the gig.
Yeah.
Not like these young bands these days. We were the sniffles and the
You nearly pulled out of your tour because you had a stroke. Fucking you snowflake.
But Slice has died several times.
Yeah.
Finished it.
Yeah, fair fucks to him, huh? Just keeping her lit. Do you know what I mean? Oh man.
They are greatest band ever. Tell you.
Yeah. I'll give them another go because sometimes like you just need time to not listen to them and then go back and be like, do you know what I mean? Because I went back to like Arctic Monkeys at one point and I was like, there's some decent stuff there, and I still can't oblige Radiohead. Sorry, I can't do that. No,
just nah.
Fuck no.
Like, it's I've never understood.
Yeah, it's just not my thing. Muse as well. I'm sort of not. You know what I mean? But again, sometimes seem like anything. Like the first time I ever watched Curb Your Enthusiasm, thought it was the worst show ever made, and now I think it's genius. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to kind of.
No, I only watched one. I watched one about 3 weeks ago. It was the first time I ever watched it.
Yeah.
I've heard about it for years, and I must get this watched. Must just watch this. And I sat there and I went, "This is genius."
Yeah, it's the Guns N' Roses of TV shows.
Well, it's like The Sopranos. I would say is the Guns N' Roses of TV show.
Yeah. Oh boy, we might have to finish now because you'll not like what I'm about to say. In terms of I've tried to watch The Sopranos 3 times and I never got past this like midway into the second season and just lost interest. Again, I'm not ruling it out.
At least you made it past the first one. A lot of people can't get past the first season, but it's made of mine banged on about it for years, and it's one of them mates. If he likes something, I have to dislike it. It's just the rules. And it was just during this event. I watched The Sopranos. I've watched it start to finish 2.5 times now. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, you do always have a mate where you're like, I have to disagree with you. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's like Don will tell you. If you ever meet Don, he'll tell you if he likes something. It doesn't matter how good it is. I automatically hate him.
Yeah, I'm sure he really.
I haven't told him to watch The Sopranos. I won't even let him on it. Like I love the thing now. I won't even tell him.
I'm sure he really likes your kids.
Well, he's one of the Godfathers. When I asked him to be Godfather, that's what he said. I'll be like The Sopranos. I'm like, no, it won't be like The Sopranos.
No, it won't be like that. No.
You have to go to mass. We're not going to a strip club. We're not going to be whacking anybody.
You have to get the Sinn Fein christening card.
Go to mass. If I die, you're stuck with a wee shake. That's what's happening.
Am I leaving you any money? Am I balls?
But no, it's your problem.
You're getting a pint of strawberry milk and my Guns N' Roses Live at Slane DVD that I burned myself. Japanese subtitles. Oh man, here, thanks a million for coming on. Hey, it's good to see you.
No, not Thomas. Thanking you.
You're very welcome. We'll do a fake goodbye, and then we'll stay in the room, sure. But yeah, thanks a million, Mr. McHugh. But your show Reservoir Dad, it's up on your YouTube and Amazon Prime, isn't it?
It is on Amazon. It is. I forgot all about that.
Yeah. So if people want to
It's
see
on
your,
Amazon Prime. Reservoir Dad. It's on YouTube and Amazon Prime. So if you want to pay for it, go on the Amazon Prime. If you want it for nothing, YouTube.
yeah, so give it a shout on the whatever tickles your pickle to see your full show from. Well, when you recorded it, it had been a while since you'd done it, wasn't it?
I done that in Edinburgh in 2014.
Yeah.
How long ago that is, like.
Yeah.
And then I recorded 2017, 2018. Because
Yeah.
I love that show. I genuinely love that show. And
Yeah.
I thought I don't have a recording of it.
Yeah.
And then I thought I'll record it and I'll stick it somewhere.
Yeah. Well, it has it has your bit about the tweet going mad, doesn't it? So people can get a bit more context and stuff. Sweet. So do check that out. And thanks again, Terry, for coming on. Good to see you as always. Take it easy.
Hope I'll see you in real life soon.
Oh, fingers crossed, by. Take it easy. All the best.